Here is something your biology teacher never told you. Twins are not just a random fluke. They are not just two babies arriving at the same time. They are the result of two completely different biological events. Events so different from each other that calling them both twins almost doesn't make sense. One type splits, one type stacks. One shares a soul, or so people say. The other shares nothing except a birthday. And here's what makes this really interesting. Most people have it completely backwards. They think identical twins are the common ones. They think fraternal twins are the rare ones. The science says the opposite is true. And the reason why reveals something wild about how human reproduction actually works. Stay with me. What I'm about to show you changes everything you thought you knew about twins. Let's be honest, most of us learned about twins from pop culture. You've seen the movies. You've heard the stories. Twins share a psychic connection. Identical twins finish each other's sentences. Fraternal twins look nothing alike and are basically just regular siblings who happen to be born at the same time. That last part? Actually kind of true. But the rest? We need to talk. Here's the popular belief. A twin pregnancy happens when one fertilized egg magically splits into two. Two babies, one egg, done. That's twins. And yes, that does happen. But it's not the only way, and it's actually not even the most common way. The reason people assume this is completely understandable. Identical twins are the dramatic story. They look the same, they act the same, they feel like a biological miracle. Of course, that's the version we remember. But biology does not care about drama. Biology runs on odds, and the odds tell a very different story. Here's what the science actually shows. There are two types of twins. Monozygotic, that is identical, and dizygotic, that is fraternal. The names come from zygote, the scientific word for a fertilized egg. Monozygotic twins happen when one single fertilized egg, one zygote, splits into two embryos. These embryos share 100% of their DNA, same genetic blueprint, same sex, often the same face. Dizygotic twins happen when two separate eggs are released, and each one is fertilized by a different sperm cell. Two eggs, two sperm, two completely separate zygotes developing side by side in the same womb. These two people share, on average, only about 50% of their DNA, the same as any regular siblings. Now here's the statistic that catches most people off guard. According to the CDC and multiple twin studies, about 70% of all twin pregnancies are fraternal, dizygotic. That means the two separate eggs version is more than twice as common as the split egg version. Why? Because releasing more than one egg at ovulation, called hyperovulation, is far more common than a single egg randomly splitting. It can run in families. It increases with age. Fertility treatments trigger it on purpose. The identical twin split? Scientists still don't fully understand why it happens. There's no identified gene that causes it. It appears to be, for the most part, a random event, a biological accident, a beautiful one, but still an accident. Okay, here's the part that will genuinely make you stop and think. You ready? Identical twins, despite sharing 100% of their DNA at birth, can become genetically different over time. That's not a typo. That is not an exaggeration. A landmark 2021 study published in Nature Genetics tracked 387 pairs of identical twins over their lifetimes. What they found was this. As twins age, their epigenomes, the chemical switches that turn genes on and off, begin to diverge. One twin gets a mutation. One twin's gene expression shifts. The identical blueprint starts to drift. Identical twins start life as carbon copies. They do not end that way. And here's what makes that even more interesting. Fraternal twins, who started with completely different DNA, can sometimes end up looking more alike in adulthood than identical twins, simply because of diet, lifestyle, and environment shaping their physical appearance. Genes are not destiny. Genes are a starting point. And the womb itself? That environment plays a huge role. Identical twins can even share a placenta, or not. The ones who share a placenta face higher risks, more complications, but also stronger developmental synchrony. Biology is not black and white. Even in the most seemingly clear-cut case, two people from the exact same egg, it gets complicated. So what do you actually do with this information? A few things. First, if twins run in your family on the mother's side, and you are a woman, you may have a higher chance of releasing multiple eggs at ovulation. That trait is genetic. Hyperovulation can be inherited. It does not guarantee twins, but it does tip the odds. Second, age matters. Women over 35 are more likely to release multiple eggs per cycle due to hormonal changes. This is one reason twin birth rates increased significantly in the 1980s and 1990s, alongside rising maternal age and fertility treatments. Third, if you or someone you know is pregnant with twins, understanding the type matters medically. Monochorionic twins, identical twins sharing one placenta, require more monitoring. Dichorionic twins, whether identical or fraternal, generally carry fewer shared risks. Knowing which type of twins you're expecting is not just interesting trivia. It changes how doctors manage the pregnancy. Let that land. And fourth, if you're just a curious human being who finds this fascinating, you're right to be fascinated. The fact that two people can grow from the same cell and still become different people over time, that is not a biology lesson. That is a meditation on identity. Here is what this really comes down to. We like to think of identity as fixed. You are born with a certain set of genes. Those genes make you who you are. Done. Twins, especially identical twins, blow that idea apart. Two people, same DNA, same womb, same moment of conception, and yet, different fingerprints, different personalities, different health outcomes, different lives. What that tells us is that who you become is not just about what you start with. It's about every environment, every experience, every stressor and joy and meal and relationship that interacts with your biology over the course of your life. You are not your genes. You are your genes in conversation with your world. Hold on that thought. Let it breathe. Twins just make that conversation visible. They give us the rare chance to see two versions of the same starting point and watch them become completely different people. That is not a medical curiosity. That is a window into what it means to be human. If you made it this far, thank you. Genuinely. Now here's my question for you. Do you know any twins in your life? Are they identical or fraternal? And growing up, did people treat them like they were the same person? Because based on everything we just covered, that is one of the most biologically inaccurate things you can do. Drop your answer in the comments. I read every single one. If this video made you think differently about something you thought you already understood, that's the goal. Hit like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.